three things that really does not exist in the mass of the corporations in this country. The first is research. I think the understanding of what a company needs to do to be socially responsible is lacking. Majority of the companies, when we go and visit them, the first thing that they ask is, can you advise us what to do? What should we do in line? That tells us two things. One, this is not discussed enough in the board. Number two, they do not have enough capacity to understand what they should do. Ideally, it should be discussed and finalized in the boardrooms, but they are hiring consultants to tell them what they have to do. Now, when you have a situation like this, if you don't channelize your resources properly, things can take a very ugly turn. And April is just knocking at our door. I hope the corporates get it. So enough research. I think there is some sort of an investment has to go within every corporation to invest in research and researching what to do for the next 5 years, 10 years. How do we take our businesses forward? Fine, but what one problem can be addressed? Now, let's look at what Bill Gates did. Means I don't think Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation ever had a very short-term objective. They never go in with this, monthly reporting, and what Dr. just said, that you cannot have monthly or a quarterly assessment and then go with your next set of evaluations based on it. These are long-term goals. That understanding will only come when the corporations carry out the research themselves within their organizations, because otherwise they would not believe it. One. Number two is the understanding of sustainability. When we go to a lot of places, we understand, but sustainability has to come within organizations. It is only not about socially sustainable projects. It is about sustainability within your diaphragm. He just took an example of Unilever. What a great example. They have been able to embed sustainability first within the system, within their various departments, and then come out with various other initiatives. So the change has to be inside out. And what we are looking at is just the change outside. So sustainability first has to come within your system. So you research, then you understand and embed the sustainability in your CSR policy. And the third and the most required field will be reporting. I think we are all over the place with reporting. I would rate it as 80% of the corporations do not have a framework of reporting, whether it's a sustainability issue in India I'm talking about, or maybe CSR at all. They're only now focusing on one aspect. This 2% is going to come. This much is in the volume. How do we? There is a sudden rush in the country where everybody seems to be running behind this 2%. And what Dr. Chatterjee just told the August audience yesterday is that the amount of money is minuscule. It is absolutely small. But the difference that this money can make by the governance of this money and by the implementation of change can bring about a huge difference. So don't look at the cost of 20,000 crore, look at the value that it is going to bring into the system. So if the corporations can implement this money in a proper way with less leakages, then it will set an example for enhancement of the same scheme as well as the government to replicate. But that will only come when you have three things in place: your research, your understanding about sustainability and social objectives, and third and most important, your reporting, because that is a mandate, as a part of the mandate. If these three things are invested upon, thought upon, discussed with the board and implemented, I think the path is ensured from good to great.
Excellent. Thank you, Soumitra. In fact, sustainability inside out was a wonderful theme, because I read about this company yesterday that makes very efficient aircraft engines, but doesn't recycle paper in their offices. So I think the inside out theme is very important when you take this ahead. Tariq, I would like to listen to your thoughts on the subject.
Thank you very much. I will start with what is the concept beginning of the CSR. We believe in the Safar Group, which is a Saudi company, that we have to give back the community we are working in, and this is very important. I will give you a very short story about Safola. Safola started 35 years ago, and it was 40 million capital as a company, Saudi Riyal of course, which is around $10 million. After 30 years, it became 1.5 billion Saudi Riyal, sorry, dollar company, and around 35, 36 billion market capital. So what is the equation out of this? From the beginning of the board of the directors at previously, it wasn't there is a CSR or something that you talked about, because the CSR is just recently came with a lot of frameworks and guidelines and rules, maybe in 2007 or something. But before that, they was giving to the community that they are working with how they believe at the time. And year after year, once the guidelines come up and the company comes up and everything comes up to the new rules and regulations, the company board of directors and investors was making the CSR as a part of their DNA. So they want to give to the community back, and in each country we work in. Today in Safolo Group we have from Kazakhstan all the way to Morocco. So we have almost 35 countries we operate in. So of course there is different needs in the countries. It's all of them, they don't have the same needs. If it's educational, or if it's environment, or it's some of the community causes or activities. But let's go back to the equation and the right direction. We have in the CSR guidelines 4 quadrants, which is very important. You have to focus in any country in this world, which is the community, the sector, the employees, and the environment. Okay? And then you'll go to the upgrading the systems and the regulations based on what we have today. We have the ISO 26000 guidelines and policies and procedures. We have the global reporting initiatives that gives you the right guidelines to work with. And believe me that they will never give you the certificates or not give you the guidelines unless you are 100% implementing. So yes, I agree with my colleague. We have to start from in to out, because our employees is the most important assets, and we have to make sure that they are in the right track before going and asking the people to change something and we inside we didn't change it. So this is number 1. Number 2, once you go outside of the company, we have to make sure about how exactly we communicate to our let's say stakeholders, CSR stakeholders, which is the community or the sector itself. Most of the people, they will go and they will donate. We'll give money, we'll give money, we'll give money. This is the wrong indication. Money is a short-term solution. It's not long-term solution, and it's not stable, but it's sustainable. Because short-term, I will go to most of the charities. The needs is there every time and everywhere. So you go and you donate money, and in the end, they will come back to you and they said, give me more. So the right direction is to do a program. And usually the programs will be three main key players: the government, the private sector, and then the NGOs. If these 3 people are there, or 3 organizations are there, it will be a success. I will give you a very small example. We have one of our retail companies called Al-Azziya Panda United, which is one of the leading retail business market. We have around 200 branches in Saudi Arabia. What we did at Al-Azziya Panda United, we do a very small program called Leave the Change for Them. Okay? Leave the Change for Them is a government approval, because we want to collect the donations from the people. But how we will collect the donation and whom the donation will go to? Number 1, the donation is, once you go and buy your normal weekly or monthly grocery, for example, you will pay $100, let's say. So, and your bill is 99.60 cents. So there is 40 cents in the balance. We'll tell you, do you want to donate with this extra amount, which is the 40 cents? You will say yes. If yes, so directly it will go to donation at the cashier level, okay? And it will go directly to our systems that, of course, this is the amount have been donated. Very small things that in last 2 years, we collect around $32 million, okay, from only our customers. We have around 200 million customers a year. And we donate this to two main causes that Saffola overall they want to donate for. Is disability, people with disability, which is very important, and we go for the category with the children category. The second thing is the residents people, the families who their basically father or mother or whatever in jail. So we give them the rental of their homes. We pay the rental of their homes, and we take their children's, boys or girls, if they go to a certain age, of course, 18 plus, to work with us in the group with whatever the level of the work is. So here what we did is getting the government approval to collect these amounts, because it's very dangerous. We get the NGOs, which is the two NGOs that we agreed with to work on this activity, and then the community, which is they pay back for what exactly want with this small donations. We have to be honest, we have a different programs, different approaches, different level based on the country we operate in. But this program, because it was my first baby at the time, and it's one of the success projects, alhamdulillah, in overall GCC, and we have 2 awards on this regarding this project. So we come back to our topics. It's reporting. You have to make sure that you report whatever you do, because in the end, if you have your shareholders or your stakeholders, which is your board or chairman or whatever, they will ask you again where you spend this amount in. To finalize this, we did a very small equation. We go and we research based on the best practices worldwide. We found that the best equation to do the budgeting for the CSR is to take 1 to up to 2% of the net profit of the company of the year. It's basically based on the nature of the business. So if it's retail, it will go up to 1.86. If it's holding group, it will go up 1%, and so on. So it's the most important part. You coordinate about it. You make sure it's there. And they want to see what's the difference. So the difference we'll see by reporting, by guidelines and manuals just now recently came up. That's it. Thank you.